Here's a headline here. Entire volume of CIA files on Lee Harvey Oswald set to be released in October has gone missing. And this has gone around quite a bit. I sent this in the Slack. I talked about it a few episodes ago. And this comes from the freethoughtproject.com.
We actually have a listener in the Slack chat. Again, email rbigdomouth@gmail.com to be added. They said they went on a JFK wormhole. I think it may have been triggered, to use SJW language, by your sharing this subject. And this is the thing. It's like if the JFK assassination was so cut and dry that, just some goofball got a gun and shot the dude from the window, why are these files so secret?
Why is it so hard to get a hold of, and why were they kept secret until 2017? And they're not even out yet. They're supposed to come out in October.
They keep getting set on fire, like the Boston bombing, or
they keep
disappearing.
World Trade Center 7 with the Enron bullshit.
So, I read this. I'll try to paraphrase this. So, Volume 5 of the CIA's Lee Harvey Oswald 7-volume collection may never be turned over, even though law requires it to take place by October 26th of this year. So, there's a 7-volume set on just Lee Harvey Oswald and the JFK assassination. Volume 5 is missing. And they said that, it was checked out, and it came back, and then it's been checked. It's like a fucking library. It's like, here, this person checked it out, and then this person checked it out. All available documents from all government entities are required by the Kennedy Assassination Records Collection Act of 1992 to be released by October 26, 2017. But if history repeats itself, the Central Intelligence Agency may not release the entire volume of documents on Oswald, known as Volume 5. Now they're saying it's missing, but now the CIA is saying, no, it's not missing. In fact, Volume 5 has been condensed down into Volume 4 and 6. That's what they're saying now. Volume 5 is not missing. They simply included the contents of Volume 5 into Volume 4 and Volume 6. Does that make any sense to anybody?
Why wouldn't they just cut down the number of volumes then and just have it volumes 1 through 5 instead of 1 through 6?
Or even just consolidate all of the data into one place.
Or just keep fucking Volume 5. I don't get it.
So, as of late 1977, the entire 7-volume collection of documents was intact, having been checked out by Russ Holmes in the Office of General Counsel, and noted the 7-volume series was altogether not missing any volumes. But the CIA was asked to turn over the volumes and documents on Oswald.
Axed.
What's that?
Sounds like you said axed.
Was asked to turn over the volumes and documents on Oswald, the hitman of the assassination. It seemed the agency stonewalled a bit like a shell game, according to independent investigator Malcolm Blunt. And this just goes on and on. And so Malcolm Blunt investigated over and over and say, well, what's going on here? Why are you stonewalling? What happened to Volume 5? And so the agency's explanation was offered that Volume 5 could have been consolidated into Volume 4 or Volume 6, for example. Eventually, the agency concluded, according to Blunt, that Volume 5 of Oswald's security file may never have existed. So, so what is it? Did they consolidate into Volume 4 or Volume 6, or did it ever exist? They don't even fucking know.
No.
So why? If it's such a clear-cut case of a single shooter, why all this hubbub?
Hey, and I mean, this gets into my anarchist part coming out. The government works for us. The government represents us, all this stuff. I feel like I should be able to walk into any government building whenever I want without being body scanned or any of this stuff. And if you have to, fine, terrorism, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like I should be able to grab any record ever, unless it's like a top secret CIA mission. or whatever. It's like it's happening right now. And I think you could make the argument it is happening right now. The CIA is probably implicated in the JFK assassination, but I feel like I should be, if it's as simple as what we've been told, I should be able to go in and go, oh yeah, that checks out. Because that's what I like to do when I evaluate evidence. If somebody says the sky's purple, I go outside and I go, yeah, it's not purple.
It's not. Well, I agree.
Reality is not determined by government. Reality is determined by evidence. And this idea, that all white people are racist, all the other stuff, they tie back to the beginning. Like, you need evidence. And this cultural abandonment of evidence and why it would matter is very troubling, especially in the, if you think, well, boy, the government happened to lose the JFK files. Whoops. World Trade Center 7 didn't get hit by a plane. All those records, Enron was going at it on the time. Oh, who would have been implicated? Whoops. Ties into a lot of other things. Who benefits? Who loses? It's you, the taxpayer.
Oh, me? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's all of us.
Well, I mean, over and over again, the mainstream narrative, the mainstream story, it never really adds up. And when you ask for the actual evidence, like say, hey, can we just see the Lee Harvey Oswald files and the secret files you have? No. You have the news reports, and then that should be good enough. Well, let's just see some what. Let's see the actual evidence that you use to get the story out there. Can we see that? No, it's always obfuscated. It's always put behind this layer of secrecy. How many years did it take to get the 18-page or the 28 pages from the 9/11 report out, and even some of that's still blacked out? It's not
didn't it come out last year?
Yeah,
so 15 years.
So I want to put this into a psychological and cultural framework once again. So with this idea that Russia, not necessarily did they, so they've already said multiple times, so they can never change this story. Then Russia did not hack voting machines. They did not hack individual votes, any of this stuff. They paid for Facebook ads and they spread the truth about what the DNC was doing. Nobody ever said, oh, yeah, well, we didn't give favorability to Hillary, or John Podesta didn't say any of these things. It was never like those things aren't true. It was just Russia exposed them. And so this idea that, people are too stupid to parse information for themselves. Like, I don't give you leak the Republican information. If it's detrimental and incriminating, I want to know. But like this idea that people can't parse this information for themselves and figure out like who's corrupt, who's not, vote in the right direction and everything, this blaming of, Russia and all this stuff. It's like, look, did they tell us anything that wasn't true? No. Okay. Move the fuck on.
I don't.
You should want transparency.
I don't. Since this does these secret JFK files kind of relate to this new Russian narrative that's being bounded about, which is very little proof that we've seen so far exactly what happened. We've seen some reports from CrowdStrike, and then everything kind of got based off of that. At least from what I've seen, and if Russia did, have Facebook ads, and they bought like $100,000 worth of Facebook ads, and that changed the face of the election, then our democracy is very fragile and weak. If $100,000 can change the game.
Yeah, well, Hillary, didn't she spend like $1 billion or more or something like this to get elected? And it's like, $100,000 in Facebook ads? I don't even go to Facebook. I know plenty of people who don't even want to go. Like, they literally changed the election. Fuck off. How stupid do you think we are?
It could have been the... I until I see an example of the ads that they are attributing the Russian ad buy to, I don't know. They're not providing examples of what exactly that content was, or maybe it's just not being bounded about. So I don't see it.
Stupid on its face.
I don't know.
If you could spend $100,000 and win an election, I mean, why wasn't this happening for the last 10 years?
Exactly. So it's ridiculous on its face if you can spend $100,000 and change the election, and that's why they're not. Well, logically, if you think about it, it doesn't really make too much sense. And so that's why
we don't like logic.
That.
We don't like evidence. We don't like logic or evidence. That's just, our culture has become this thing. We talked about James Damore earlier on the show. This is bullshit. Like I have an app, Mike. I don't know if you're involved with this thing. It's called Fish. It's called Fishbowl, and it's a industry app for like advertisers, designers, tech people, blah blah blah. And it's called Fishbowl, and I pay attention to it. And you would not believe the number of people who are talking about how James Damore was a racist, misogynist for the first week that it was coming out
on that app,
and then on the app, like because it's an anonymous. It's like if you could imagine Yik Yak, like people who are younger. Like if you know Yik Yak, then it's like basically anonymous people within a certain location can say whatever they want and nobody knows who they are. This is an industry-wide thing where it's like you're anonymous. You can reveal whether what your position, you can reveal your company, you can reveal everything if you want. And so when it first started, it was like everybody hated this guy. And then the tide turned. And then everybody abandoned it because they didn't want to talk about how wrong they were. They didn't want to talk about how, oh, wait, I actually read the fucking memo. Now you can't delete comments as far as I know.
No, I don't know how.
No, you can edit. But it's just like one of these things where it's like, wait a minute. How do you just get to say this shit and then continue to be wrong about it?
Yeah, well, people, eventually they'll have to come to their own conclusions about the belief systems. And just to take it back to JFK, if everything's on the up and up and everything happened exactly the way they said, then why not release those files?